Hemen Kapadia, as we told you, is with us, Senior Vice President at KR Choksey Limited. Hemen, good afternoon. First a view on Infosys, 1122. Slight bit of selling pressure coming in today?
Yes, very good afternoon to you, Pankaj. I think we should have, normally if there is not too much of appreciation before the results, one would have expected there should be follow-up. That's not happened. We posted a fresh all-time high last week. We haven't sustained, and we are now, Pankaj, at a 7 trading session low. Not looking too good. Maybe it's just one day, but maybe it's too early to take that call, but it's not looking very convincing. In the sense, I would be more slightly negative than positive.
Do you think good numbers were factored in, the rally that we had in Infosys that factored in one of the best numbers to be delivered?
Yes, Pankaj, because if you look at the charts from 1050, we saw, I wouldn't say unlikely, but a slightly strange rally in Infosys past 1190, which was pretty significant, Pankaj. That was 10% for a heavyweight like Infosys. So I think this would have factored the numbers into some extent at least.
Right. Hemen, just stay on with us. We're taking a quick break. Coming back in 2 minutes, I want to discuss about markets as well as some other stocks on the other side. Slight bit of sell-off coming in, 47 odd points decline. We are around the day's lowest point, not exactly at the day's lowest point, but slightly off the day's high. We were talking to Hemen about Infosys. He's still with us. Hemen, last time when we spoke to you, you said that there are very unlikely a chance that market would go up, but at the same time you said that 8200 is something which we can see. Now we've been in and around that level, and today we've seen a fall from that level. Does this mark that at least a near-term top has been made?
Technically, that is a possibility, Pankaj, but it just happened today. I think we've crossed yesterday's high today. Yesterday's high was crossed by the day before's high, so on and so forth. But 82.25, there was a gap, Pankaj, that we spoke about earlier. Okay, now that has been covered up completely, but we haven't been able to sustain above 8200 in terms of closing, despite 4 continuous trading sessions. So this obviously does not augur well. We have seen a nifty open interest built up, Pankaj, to a significant amount. One gets the feeling that I think it's around 28 to 30 lakh shares. Now that is significant enough to pay attention to. So if we don't take out 82.25 and start running up, now this has happened over the last 3 trading sessions, that means that's a short position. So if we don't run away, now chances of that were remote are still remote. But paying respect to levels, first indication is that a small bottom of 8105 or 8098 which we formed last week, that gets broken in terms of closing. First indication that, yeah, Pankaj, we have peaked out. I have a feeling that we probably would have peaked out today, but I think it's a bit early to take that call.
But are things looking in scary, or you think this time around, it could be slightly gradual? I mean, slow, steady decline, markets may not do anything, little bit up and down?
Currently this could be a small distribution happening, Pankaj, so I'm not sure if the repercussions could be very volatile as of now. And we are still comfortably placed above the psychological level of 8,000, which is also a technical level. Now, when 7940 starts breaking, I think it's probably a few days away if that has to happen. I think then it won't remain so sanguine, Pankaj. I think we would see volatility as well as some sort of panic come in after that level once that breaks.
Right. What's going on into metal names? I mean, Vedanta, 30 points up, Hindalco 30 points off the lows. Anything that you can find over there?
They've all were on the last legs of a 16-month decline, Pankaj. We spoke about that earlier. Metals is something one could look at. But now, we've also seen crude come up. So, and worldwide metal prices have recovered. So, not a very surprising thing, considering the fact that, yes, we've been down for 16 months, Pankaj. That's pretty huge. Close support levels, whether it's the BSE Metal Index or Tata Steel. So, fine. We moved up. It's a perpendicular rise. Now, will this sustain? But more importantly, now in this fall, if metal doesn't make a new low, especially Tata Steel, I think then first time in 16 months, we would have a more credible technical turnaround signal. So, I would be bullish on metals if we don't break, if we don't post a new low in this possible ensuing decline.
And that's for the index itself?
Yeah, I think it quantifies for the BSE Metal Index and Tata Steel in particular.
What would be that level on Tata Steel?
Pankaj, I think that level was around 196 to 200. We went to that level. I think we also spoke about that earlier. Pankaj, we went to 200 on 25th of August and we went back to 200 without getting into decimals. We went to 200 on 29 September and we had gone to 195.40 in August 2013. So I think this level is pretty significant, and after a deep oversold situation, 16-month decline, one gets the feeling that the metals thing was overdone. Okay, overdone, fine, we've seen what has happened. In this, now whenever there's a profit booking or a decline or a correction or a retracement, however you may term it, once we don't break 200 again and turn, I'd stick my neck out and say that Tata Steel would give you 40, if not 80% in the next 4 months.
Right. Similar is the case with other large cap names like Hindalco, names like Vedanta, maybe a JSW Steel. Or, I mean, all are looking strong, may not be, percentage might be different, but do you think they're all looking decently strong?
All are looking decently strong, Pankaj, because if you look at the BSE metal index, it is obviously these guys will mimic what the metal index is doing, and obviously one will look like the other. So yes, all of them. But if you give me the option of a pecking order, I think it would be Tata Steel, it would be Hindalco, and then you have a toss-up between JSW and Vedanta.
Right. How would you look at Tata Motors at the same time? Again, a name that was deeply oversold. I think 8 months of continuous selling. First signs of good recovery and very good recovery, not followed by any selling.
Yes, Pankaj. Tata Motors, yes, I think a similar situation. And Tata Motors DVR always looked slightly stronger on technical parameters, but institutions don't participate in DVR. But yes, I think same situation. Yeah, I think the worst is almost over. We see a small cool off. We see some time price retracement coming in. And the way it has turned, it's been obviously volatile, deep oversold. We saw volumes happening a couple of weeks back, Pankaj, at around 310. A bit surprising that we went to 280, but anyway, the market is always right. One gets the feeling that yes, I think the worst is over, and it is probably now entering the phase where it would quantify the buy on declines.
What is that level that you said? We are entering into the level where it would quantify as a?
See, we went from 610 to 280, 280 to 370, almost 365, Pankaj. Now, even if you take a 50% retracement of this fall, so anything around 310, 320, I think one would be more comfortable looking at Tata Motors from a medium to long-term point of view, because at least from a medium-term point of view, because I have a feeling even if you take a retracement of the fall, Pankaj, I think it opens up doors till 420 from a maybe 4 to 5 month point of view, Pankaj.
Right. Hemen, just stay on with us. Siddharth Sidani, Assistant Vice President Advisory at Sharekhan, is now joining in. Good afternoon, Siddharth. What's your view on Tata Motors? We were just talking about Tata Motors, and Hemen has a view that it may quantify for a buy quite soon.
See, instead of Tata Motor, we are quite constructive on Tata Motor DVR. But if we talk about Tata Motors, the kind of the global issues which has happened in terms of Volkswagen is concerned, and I think JLR should get definitely a kick-off in terms of sales are concerned. And if you look at the last sales numbers, they've done fairly good in US. And apart from that, China is a little bit slowing down, but what I feel is JLR would do and command the good numbers going forward. On top of it, if you see the CV cycle revival in India, I think in coming 2 quarters, what we can see is CV cycle reviving, and Tata Motors is taking a lead on this. So overall, Tata Motors looks quite good, but with a long-term perspective, and we are very constructive on Tata Motors DVR.
What would be your view on the metals pack? We were talking about metals, the strong recovery that we have seen over there. You think it is justified?
See, maybe fundamentally it is not that justified, because it may be a technical pushback that stocks have come up. But if you look at the pricings and everything in terms of business dynamisms are concerned, it is definitely at the lower cycle of the industry. And if you look at the Chinese data, if you look at the base metals in LME, I don't think these stocks should be commanding the valuations or the pricings what they are commanding currently. On top of it, if you look at few of the fundamental changes which has happened in the industry, is few of the companies have raised their rates of late, and even a safeguard duty has been also introduced by the government. So that those are the few points. On the respite of that, I think the sector has bounced back. But maybe this is short-lived, because this is completely cyclical in nature. So we may see until and unless the economy revives big time, we may not see a big upsurge in the entire sector.
Right. Hemen, just a word on that. We've spoken about metal stocks. You think metals have also bottomed out? You track a lot of global commodities and markets. You think certain metals like zinc, crude, which have seen a very strong bounce back, have bottomed out?
Crude, no, Pankaj. I think crude is in a bounce back. Obviously, I think that's very apparent, which was predictable. This bounce can continue further, but no, I'm not sure if they bottomed out. They are in the midst of a smart recovery, and this recovery could take some time, Pankaj. But no, I'm not sure. Now, if you look at NYMEX came up from $107 or $108. We went to 37, and now we are bouncing back. Maybe NYMEX could go to 58, 60, but beyond that, I think it looks difficult. Between 58 and 63, I think we are going to walk into a whole wall of resistances. So, no, I'm not sure if they bottomed out. No, not yet.
Right. What would be your view as far as BHEL is concerned, Hemen? Anything over there? Markets have rallied, but this name, I think, is absolutely flat in the last 8-10 days.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Pankaj. Siemens recovered, L&T recovered with a semblance of stability, but BHEL has refused to do that. Once again, one gets the feeling that we should have been at 220 currently, but that's not happening. Deeply oversold. Technically, downside appears very limited. So I'm not sure if it's going to go down too much from here. Yes, if the market starts unraveling, you could also look at it on the other side, saying that it's so weak that it needs to be shorted first. So extreme near term, I think there is scope for some upside. Sustainability at higher level, looking at the Capgood index and market seems dicey. If we come back and break 190 at this time around, I think there's going to be hell to pay. So near term, I think there is respite. We'll have to see how much upside there is. There is technical possibilities of an upside. Not too much, but yes, I think it looks a bit better as of now.
Right. Siddharth, what would be your view on BHEL? Do you cover that name?
See, in this pack, what we believe is L&T would be a best pick because the kind of orders are flowing in terms of defense is concerned. We feel that defense would be a very big play for L&T going forward, and even they have bagged few of the orders in a couple of weeks back. So the kind of play L&T can come in and the kind of performance they can bring in terms of if we see 5% of a revival on the ground, I think L&T would be a most beneficiary, and we believe that L&T would be a better pick with a 1 to 2 year horizon where earning volatility is not too big as good as BHEL, because in terms of margins is concerned, BHEL doesn't fit the bill, and L&T would be a best pick where we may see a less of volatility in terms of earnings are concerned.
Right, but it's also, don't you think it's trading at a premium? I mean, versus the entire space, because it's something which is a consensus buy.
See, EPC player which is completely a leader in the space, and the kind of projects and the kind of planning which government has today in defense, in Make in India, or in any other aspect is concerned, or if it is a power equipment space also is concerned, I think EPC player leader would definitely command a good premium. And if you see in the mid cycle of a upturn or a revival, these players would definitely perform much more than what is expected. So we feel that being a largest player in the space and proxy to the Indian growth story, L&T would definitely command a premium and would be a best fit in the sector.
Right. Siddharth, just stay on with us. Hemen, request you to stay on. Just about 90 seconds remaining for closing. And if you look at the markets, quite a bit of turnaround. We did open on the higher side. We were trying to sustain around the 8200 mark for most part of the day, and then closing below 8150 would not augur very well. But at the same time, even as Hemen pointed out earlier, it's not a big crack that we are seeing. It's not a sharp crack. It's just a small sort of profit booking. FIDI numbers today would be interesting, how both of them are panning out. Tata Power on your screen was up about 3% in the morning, is up about 0.2%. BHEL 1.6% higher, 205. NMDC 3%. NMDC is one name among the metals pack that has not done well versus to some of its peers when you compare it from the lows, but it's still up 3% towards close. HCL Tech has seen a big sell-off, but today it's up about 6% Coal India absolutely flat. Bharti Airtel has been doing well for last 2-3 days, but the entire 1 month change would not be that great, but 350 for Bharti Airtel. NTPC up 1%, HDFC Limited down about 1.5, Reliance up about 0.5%. TCS down 1.3%. Ambuja Cement up about 0.5% or so. Idea absolutely flat. Reliance about 0.5%. IndusInd Bank up about 0.5%. Power Grid down about up about 0.34%. Maruti down 1%, Cipla down about 1.8%, Gale down up close to about 2.5%, Asian Paints up about 1% or so. L&T absolutely flat. The bias is on the positive side. We were talking to Siddharth about that name. That's the closing bell. 45 points as far as decline on Nifty is concerned. We'll get the adjusted close soon, but it's the provisional closing. Maybe in the next 3 to 4 minutes, we should have the adjusted closing with us. Kotak Mahindra Bank up 0.25%, Z Entertainment up 0.25%, ACC absolutely flat, Bajaj Auto down 1.2%, Hero MotoCorp down about 0.4%, Ultratech 1% higher. Top loser on your screen, Infosys. It's a stocks and news. We heard the management here on profit, but they were trying to reassure that things are not that bad, but still down 3.5%. Bank of Baroda stocks and news. We spoke to the management, down about 3.5%, 176 as far as Bank of Baroda is concerned. Cipla down about 1.8%. It is a name which has been doing well, but today a little bit of sell-off. Similar the case with Lupin. Lupin, in fact, has done very, very well, but today it's down close to about 1.5%. Sun Pharma down about 1.6%, 890 rupees for Sun Pharma. Dr. Reddy's down 1.5%, HDFC down 1.5%, Wipro, TCS all sold off once the numbers came in, and at least in the second half when Infosys saw the second leg of selling, these names also saw some accentuated selling coming in. Bajaj Auto, Maruti, ITC down about 1.2%, Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, Kane India down close to about 0.6% each. Bosch, Grasim, PNB, Tata Steel are some of the other names down about 0.5% or so. As far as the gainers are concerned, it's all about the metals pack. They have been gaining in for the last few days. Today was no different. Vedanta Limited towards the close up 6%, Hindalco down, up 5%, Gale up 2.5%, Tata Motors continues the spectacular run up about 2%, BHEL 1.7% higher, NTPC up 1%, Ultratech, Asian Paints, HCL Tech up close to 1%. For these names. In fact, almost 1% is what we can say after NTPC, the names that we spoke about. Mid-cap index, it opened in green. That gave you a sense that momentum is positive, but then when the markets came to closing, it gave up a lot of its gains. Let's look at some of the names that did well today. Motherson Sumi was up 5.5%. We had a call coming in from UBS. It was up 5% today, 254 for Motherson Sumi. Reliance Power, similar case like NTPC, maybe even a Tata Power, but down about up about 3.4%, but at the highest point of the day was up 6%. Kansai Nerolac up 3.7%, United Phosphorus Limited up 3.5%, NHPC up 2.6%, Max India Glenmark was up close to about 2%. PFC did see a rally last week, then saw a sell-off, but up about 2% right now. Ashok Leyland 94 refuses to fall. Jubilant Life Sciences 382 for that name. Some of the losers: Bharti Infratel 385, 4.5% decline for Bharti Infratel. Emami Limited down about 4%. Indian Hotels down 3%. HMT down 2%. Mindtree, IDBI, Tata Communication down about 2.5%. Before we go to our guests, just wanted to highlight some of the names that from the CNX 500 pack did not do that well. So if I look at that list, Gujarat Pipavav Port 3.6% decline. DLF was down 3%, 135. Mindtree was down 2.2%. IDBI was down 2%. IRB Infrastructure has rallied a lot of late, but today was down 2%. Hexaware close to 245. Eicher Motors down about 1.7%. Marico down close to about 1.7%. As far as gainers list is concerned, Federal Bank is one name and JSPL is another one that comes to the eye. So JSPL up 4%, Federal Bank up 3%. KR Limited volumes very, very low, but still up close to about 4% or so. So the broader markets did well, but most of the names that we spoke, even on the gaining side, were quite significantly off the day's high. Hemen and Siddharth are still with us. Hemen, we spoke about BHEL to Siddharth, and he told us that L&T is the best place in the pack. Would you agree with that? BHEL, we of course got your views and the levels. L&T, what would you watch out for?
Yes, I think L&T is significantly better than BHEL, but if you look at the strongest one in the whole entire cap goods space is Siemens. Siemens is ridiculously resilient. It doesn't correct much in line with the market or how much the index or the cap.
But always tends to go up when the market goes.
Yeah, so it's in a funny situation where, Pankaj, like you said, it corrects by moving sideways or up. So but yes, I think L&T looks obviously better than BHL.
Right. Hemen, what will be your view on the housing finance companies? They've done well, but today minor bit of correction or minor bit of underperformance. Names like LIC, Indiabull Housing. Do you like these names?
LIC seems fine, but if the stock is moved from 400 to 495 in 5 weeks, I wouldn't short it. It's obviously in an uptrend, but I wouldn't be gung-ho about the stock. Maybe it goes till 510, 515, but expecting it to come out with another 20% move without a correction seems slightly improbable. So I would stay back, wait for a correction to set in. Having said that, we are in a large range between 390 and 520, Pankaj. Some of the monthly mechanical indicators have turned negative, which is not a good sign, which seems to suggest that this current move, despite its strength, despite a potentially possible further upside, seems corrective, and it could basically, I think it needs some time to recover and consolidate. The stock has moved from 150 to 520, Pankaj, over the last year or two. I think we need to take a breather.
Right. So as of now, you would avoid them. But they are not shorting candidates, right?
No, they are not yet. I think till the Nifty, breaks 8105 and then 7980, I would not short the stocks. But yeah, participating in them after this run up, no, I think the risk-reward ratio might not be in favor. It's not fraught with risk or something, because on technical parameters, 1, no levels have been broken, 2, no sell signals have emanated, 3, no trend lines have been breached. So we seem to be in an uptrend, but like I said, 400 to 495, I'd prefer to sit out.
What would be your view on Motherson Sumi? 5% higher today, 230 is the level you told us earlier. It's bounced back from there.
Yes, Pankaj, I think last Monday we spoke about Motherson Sumi. I think that very day it had moved. There was an upside. I mean, that's happened, and I think there is some more upside left. Once again, 390, 215, Pankaj. Even the pullback takes us to 270. So there is upside. Yes, but once again, as of now, it's a recovery, not a rally. And yes, this recovery can surprise from 270 to even a 300. If you take a 50% retracement of the fall, Pankaj, I think we have a lot of headroom. I'm not saying we're going to completely retrace a fall, but I think we seem comfortably poised for some more upside.
Right, but right now the risk reward is not in the favor. But probably last week or maybe the week before that, when we spoke about that, risk reward were in favor.
Yes, Pankaj. Last Monday, in fact, we spoke about it, and I told you I think there's going to be it was worth buying. And yes, I think we moved up a bit today. But at this level, if one were to participate, one would keep a stop loss at 245, maybe for a target of 270. But then if there's a 10 rupee stop loss and a 15 rupee upside, I think the risk reward ratio should be at least 1 to 2 or 2.5 to participate. So if one has a position, hold on. There is going to be further upside. And if we sustain about 270, we could go to 290 or 310.
Right. Even what will be your view on the real estate pack? DLF, Unitech, they've done well. DLF corrected today, but Unitech did not do well. If you track Unitech anymore, but DLF, what would be your view?
DLF has walked into small correction. I'd say 130 support. This move from 92 to 142, I think there's a small retracement level, a support level coming around 130, Pankaj. If that holds, it's fine. If that doesn't and it closes below 130, we could slip to 122. Unitech seems a bit positive, but we've seen that happen earlier also, Pankaj. I'm not sure how much importance we should attach to the stock. If we are in an established long-term downtrend, we've been down for 8 years and counting. Deeply oversold, sparks of life. There could be near-term upside. Worst over, difficult to say.